So I'm going to show you guys how to isolate in layers. All right. So the purpose of this is to make our lives easier and layer out the natural eyelashes one layer at a time or less at a time in order to make our lives easier when we're isolating. Now, personally, I prefer to still use the regular isolating technique that I always use in my videos, but this is a technique that you guys have been asking for, so I wanted to share so you can try and see if it's right for you. So what we have done so far is we've taped up the natural eyelashes in two parts using the sensitive blue tape. And then we pulled out some of her natural eyelashes to apply the extensions on that layer first. So some benefits in doing this is make your life easier to isolate and also to not miss any of the natural eyelashes that you want to apply extensions on. But obviously, if you see very tiny baby hairs like this one, let's zoom in, like this one, though we're not applying on those, but anything that does look like it's going to be strong enough to hold an extension, we are going to apply it on. Okay, so not the baby new growth eyelashes, but the eyelashes that are in any of its other stages, it's okay to apply on. What else I found out is that usually we use a curved tweezer to isolate when we're not doing this technique. But if I do that, since the way that the eyelashes are sitting because of the taping, they're kind of sitting up almost like if somebody had really curly eyelashes. I find it a lot harder to isolate with my curved tweezers. So what I found that would be best for you guys is to use a needlepoint tweezer. This one's the H2 in order to isolate and get in there when the eyelashes seem very curly, okay? It's much easier for me to do this now. So it's good to have one of these tweezers handy. So either I can isolate like how I would isolate with the curved tweezer and get in there like that, or I can use it to move other eyelashes out of the way to see that one in order to apply easily and clearly. So let's zoom in. So I'm either going to be able to isolate with the tweezer like that and only apply on that one eyelash, or I can move things out of the way and apply on that one that I see clearly. And when the eyelashes are curly or kind of more sitting up, it's easier for me to apply underneath. So I'm going to go ahead and come underneath like that and apply. And you can see where my fan is, and you can see where her eyelash, and we're staying 0.5 millimeter to 2 millimeters away from the lash line. If you're newer, it's okay to stay further out from the lash line. As you gain more experience, you can come as close as possible, but just make sure not to touch the skin. Super important to not clog her pores or hair follicles and to do a great job. I have some glue in my tweezer, so it's getting in my way of grabbing the fan. So anytime that happens, we want to make sure we clean our tweezers, either carefully scraping it off with other tweezers or dunking it in acetone to loosen the glue bond and clean it. Okay, if you do use that acetone, you do have to make sure you still wash and sanitize and disinfect before using again on your client. See, now they're grabbing much better now that that glue is out of my way. We want to make sure the base is attached. Okay, so it's okay if that curly part right there is not attached, but the base, the straight part, is attached, then it's gonna last long. So a lot of times why that doesn't happen is because the natural eyelash has a different curl than the extension, and it's only gonna adhere at the base and not the full lash. And that's okay. We are okay with that because that's how it's gonna look with the curl that we would prefer. Okay, so here's that technique again of me just moving some eyelashes out of the way instead of fully isolating. And I mean, it is still isolating because we still want only one natural eyelash to have an extension on it. We never want to stick anything together because that's how we damage the eyelashes. And if somebody had really straight eyelashes, you would kind of see them going that way, and in that case I would glue my fans or the classic extensions right on top instead of underneath. But once I go ahead and lash all of these eyelashes that I see, that's when I'm going to go ahead and bring out another layer from under the tape and apply the extensions on those. And we can adjust it for it to stick in the direction or go in the direction we want it to with our tweezers before it's fully dry. The one great thing about lashing in layers that I'm noticing is that you can get even closer to the base of the natural eyelash without gluing anything extra together, because the other eyelashes are kind of out of your way. Now that I've lashed every lash in this first layer that I see are, lashable. So anything that was super, super tiny and new growth lash, I left it alone for next time. And now I'm just gonna give it a second, or I'm gonna use my fan to dry it before I pull out my second layer. I can actually also brush them to make sure they're kind of sitting how I want them to sit and make them as perfect as possible. In reality, they're sitting very nicely. Now I'm gonna just check this one eyelash that might be stuck together. Oh, yep, it is. So if I notice two of my fans get stuck together because sometimes the glue doesn't dry quick enough, I'm gonna gently pull them apart. If one of them comes out, that's fine. I'm gonna remove it and we'll put a new one, okay? But our goal is to make sure we don't have anything that's stuck together. That's how we're gonna protect her natural eyelashes, since our natural eyelashes all do have different since our natural eyelashes all have different I can't talk right now. Since all of our natural eyelashes have different growth times or rates. Now I'm gonna go ahead and dry really quick since I applied a new one. And we're gonna let some more eyelashes out. So we're releasing almost like the second layer of her natural eyelashes. Now, it is easier to isolate, even though you do see the ones that do already have the extensions on and the ones that we just released. It is easier to still isolate this way because the eyelashes that have the extensions on them are longer and easier to move out of our way to apply to the new eyelashes we released. For example, and I sometimes use both of my tweezers, as you can see, like that to isolate. Then I'll grab that one. So I'm gonna switch back to my curved tweezer because now it's my traditional way of isolating the last layer. I found that to be a lot easier. We're gonna finish her up. Can't see the writing there, but that's 11, 12. Now to fill in, after I go ahead and apply a good amount to this corner, the area that we just released, I'm gonna fill in any tiny eyelash that I see with the 9mm, just to give it the fullness and the fluff, instead of just leaving those alone. That's how I'm gonna get my wispy look. And already within these eyelash extensions, within each strip, they do actually have a few different lengths too, to make sure that you're gonna get an extra wispy look. And again, reminder, I am mixing in the lengths on my lash mark that you see that's in pink, like here, and 12 and 11 here. I am mixing in those longer lengths within that area in order to make the whole look a lot more wispy. And I'm not fully making super wide fans for the wispy pieces, or I'm making huge fans to really have the wispy pieces stand out.